HDMI over IP solution called EVO IP. Now, I'll go through the features and benefits. Before I do that, what we wanted to do is create a very simple product. On the right-hand side, all we sell you are transmitter, receiver, and a control box. That's it. So just 3 simple SKUs. We wanted to design a system where it was easy to sell, easy to implement, and easy to install. As far as the features and benefits, this system will pass 4K, 60 frames, and 444 chroma subsampling. Now, we can pass HDR, both versions of HDR, HDR10 and Dolby Vision at 4K 30. We can also upscale and downscale. We can upscale to 4K and downscale all the way down to 720p. That is very important because with traditional matrix units and splitters, if you split out that one source to multiple displays and you have a mixture of different resolution TVs, it'll choose the lowest common denominator. With this system, we can send 4K, and we can choose to downscale at each receiver, so that way each TV is displaying their maximum resolution content. As far as the user interface, we'll get into that. There's a couple easy ways to access our user interface. We do have an app that's available on iOS and Android, but since this system is built upon IP, we can access it via IP remotely or locally. One other feature that is very nice is the Alexa-enabled skill that we have. So if you have an Alexa Echo Dot or an Echo product, you can actually voice control our system and switch sources from it. All of our transmitters and receivers are PoE as long as you have a PoE-enabled switch. And again, we'll go through what switches are compatible with our system. And with the EVO IP system, we can actually automate this entire system. That way, you don't even have to manually switch it. We can set this up to automate switching. We can switch at different times. We can do recurring. We can do a singular event as well. As far as video wall capability, we can do up to a 5x5 video wall display, up to 25 displays. Very flexible there. We can do one large video wall. We can do multiple video walls within one video wall, and we can also do customized on-screen messages. So we can do text, we can do different colors, we can do fonts, pictures, logos. For the integrator side, we can also do automated notifications. So that way you can set this up and you can have a couple of installations, and we can choose to actually notify yourself via SMS or email for anything that goes down, any transmitter or any receiver that goes down. In terms of third-party control, we will have drivers for Crestron, RTI, Control4, and URC. Brandon is working on more companies to integrate with. What we want to do with this system is integrate with as many control parties as possible. In terms of system requirements, I'm going to focus here on really 1080p and 4K. The Ethernet switches that you have for both resolutions must have multicast and multi-layer, jumbo frame capability, and IGMP snooping capability. PoE is preferred for both for cleaner installation. The transmitters and receivers do come with a power supply for redundant power. Now for the 4K version, if you're doing 4K resolution, if you have 6 or more 4K sources, you will need to move to a 10 gig switch. Okay, as far as the recommended Ethernet switch, or switches, what we want to do is we want to be compatible with as many switches as possible. So right out of the box, we will be compatible with Luxel, Cisco, and TrendNet. And Brandon, you are working with Ubiquiti and PackEdge for compatibility very soon, correct?
Correct. Yep, I'm working with those now. And also, this says testing the SG350, 550 series for Cisco. Those do work with those models and are confirmed at this point as well.
Okay, perfect. So what we want to do with this system, again, is integrate with as many companies as possible. We're not proprietary at all. We don't want to lock you down to a certain switch. So if you're a Luxel guy, great, you can still use this with Luxel. If you're a TrendNet guy, again, great, you can use this with TrendNet. And again, we're working on additional manufacturers. Now, as far as the hardware, like I said, we only have 3 SKUs, so it's very simple to implement, to design, and to sell. Often with our competitors, we've noticed that they have different tiers of products, right? So they have a different tier for 1080p, a different tier for 4K, a different tier for a video wall, a different tier for digital signage. What we wanted to do was include all those features and benefits into our system, so that way you don't have to guess and match. which receiver matches up to what transmitter and vice versa. So for every transmitter, you will need a part number EVO IP TX1. For every source that you need, you'll obviously need a transmitter. It features PoE. There is an HDMI loop out where you can connect to a local display, or you can actually combine with any other HDMI system, including a multi-layer or multi-switch. As far as control, we can pass RS-232, bidirectional IR, and we can also de-embed audio in the form of digital and analog. Receiver, same deal. Again, you need a receiver for each display. Part number EVO IP RX1. Features, again, PoE, RS-232, and bidirectional IR for control. And again, de-embeds audio in the form of digital and analog. Now, the control box, part number EVO IP CTL1, that's sort of your brains of the operation. In terms of switching, in terms of video wall capability, in terms of digital signage, you will need this unit, one for each application. Now, without it, we can certainly work EVO IP in a massive splitter. So you can take one transmitter, and we can actually split that out to up to 64 receivers using these dip switches on each unit. Okay, great for, let's say, an airport where you want to show departures and arrivals on each concourse and each gate. Okay, but again, the controller is needed for matrix switching, video wall capability, and the digital signage capabilities. Now, the control box itself actually has an HDMI output, and in terms of the user interface, very easy to access. Okay, there's actually 3 ways of doing it locally. Now, if you connect the control box HDMI out to monitor, it'll actually give you this page right here on the right-hand side. Now, most importantly, it'll show you the IP address and the URL, so you can pop that into any local browser, and it'll come right up. And again, you can access this system remotely as well. The third way of doing it is the QR code on the right-hand side. You can take any mobile device and scan it with your camera, and again, the user interface will come right up on your mobile device. So let's talk about the user interface further. So what you have is this page right here with our system. It actually auto-discovers every transmitter and a receiver that you plug in. So it's very easy in terms of setup. There almost is none. All you have to do is plug it in, and it automatically displays in your user interface. Now, as far as the matrix mode and the rest of these slides, guys, I'm going to kind of breeze through only because we're going to do a live demo of the user interface. But with the matrix mode, very easy. All your sources display on the bottom. All your sources display at the bottom. All your displays are at the top here. And all you have to do is click and drag each source in each display. Again, more on that on the live demo. For the video wall mode, we are able to do up to a 25 display video wall, or up to a 5x5 capability, and anything below that. Very flexible in terms of the video wall capability, because we can do one large video wall. We can do multiple video walls within a video wall as well. In terms of OSD, on-screen display, this is perfect for digital signage applications. We can do text, we can place it wherever we want on the screen, we can do different colors, we can do different font. We can also do images and logos that can overlay over your screen as well. Again, more on that with the live demo. For the schedule tab, like I mentioned, we can completely automate this system. We can control when the display should be getting a signal and from which source signal. Great for commercial opening and closing times. We can choose to reboot the system every night if you wanted to. So again, a great feature to have. The event tab, for the integrator, we can actually set yourself up to receive email and SMS notifications automatically anytime a transmitter or receiver goes down, which is great. So if you want to set yourself up for recurring revenue, for monitoring each of the applications that you install, you can certainly set that up. The Access tab. On this tab, we can actually control which feeds or which sources can be sent to what displays. This is great for any CCTV applications where we don't want the CCTV feed to, let's say, go in the lobby, or we can set up parental control and digital signage as well. The log tab, again, as the integrator, you would have access to each of the applications that you install, basically one for each control box, and you can log into here and find out what happened in each system. So you can find out if somebody logged in, if somebody switched sources, if somebody had a digital signage application go up. So again, it records pretty much everything on here. Now, as far as Amazon Alexa control, again, you can control EVO IP with voice commands using any Amazon Echo product with Alexa control. So this is a very nice feature to control by voice. So all you have to do is say, Alexa, play the cable box on the family room TV. She'll update, and then Alexa will actually confirm. Okay, at this point, we'll switch to the actual live demo. Brandon, if you can cover the different user access levels.
Sure. Real quick, there's just a couple of questions. Just to take quick opportunities to answer. I believe in terms of if anybody needs a recording of this, it will be on our website. So we'll be able to get a recording out of this for you. As mentioned, we will have URC drivers available. That will be TCP URC 2.0 compatible. IR, the IR that's used for routing, cannot be controlled through the app. The app is really for the control of the system itself, enabling, disabling certain events and features. So, and also last but not least, Alexa scale set is available in the Canadian market now. So at first there was a little bit of process, but we were able to get it available in the Canadian market. So I just wanted to cover those real quick while we had the chance. In regards to the layers. So essentially they'll have 3 different layers within the cloud. There's the admin layer, which kind of oversees everything. There's the installer level layer, which is the next layer. Pretty much oversees, you're allowed to change everything. But in case, an installer leaves the company, moves somewhere else, that allows the admin to still be able to access that account. And there's also an end user layer. This end user layer is much, much more limited, really only for control, enabling and disabling video walls, and more of the basic settings. So that's really where the layers come into place in terms of the cloud.
Okay, great. So guys, we'll get into the actual user interface of actually using the different modes here. And the first mode that I have in is the matrix mode. And again, very easy to use. What we designed this for is really for the end user, really for ease. So what you see down below are all your sources. And in this case, I only have 2 sources here. I have my Netflix player and my CCTV feed. In terms of my displays, I've got the dining room, lobby TV, and the manager's office. Now, they're all relabeled. You can certainly do that, and we'll show you how to do that later. In terms of the images, the sources have generic images that you can actually choose from. However, the displays actually show you a screenshot that's taken every 5 seconds. So for instance, we have the Netflix player playing in the dining room. Let's say we wanted to play that in the lobby TV. All you have to do is click and drag the Netflix source, drop into the lobby TV, and now this will actually update. So very easy in terms of switching, and again, that feed will update to show you that screenshot. Okay, so very easy. The other things that you can do if you have multiple displays and multiple sources and you're trying to figure out what's playing on what, you can actually scroll over each one of the sources, and the displays will actually highlight in a box to tell you exactly where that feed is playing. Again, for the CCTV, the same deal. Okay. In terms of the video wall functionality, again, we can do up to a 5x5 video wall display, up to 25 displays. And what you see here are 8 presets, and you can actually set each preset. For instance, if I take that first preset, hit that little edit icon, and we can change up the name of this. So I'll type in a name. And we can also change layout. So let's say you want to do a 3x3 video wall, 9 displays. If you hit update, that'll update down below. And the next thing you have to do is make sure that you've got the right receivers hooked up to the right TVs. And then on the right-hand side, you'll notice our sources are also labeled, but more importantly, they're color-coded as well to make it a lot easier. All you have to do is start dropping your source into the corresponding TVs. So I can take this Netflix source and I can drop into all 9 TVs if I wanted to, or I can do a smaller video wall, a 2x2, and I can do different sources surrounding it, so full flexibility. If you want to do a 4x4 video wall displays with 16 displays, we can do 4 miniature video walls in there. So again, fully flexible in terms of the video wall capability of this system. Other features, we can actually turn the TVs on their side and upside down. So if I scroll over TV number 1 here, you'll see this little icon. If I click on that, 180 degrees to turn on side, and then 270 to turn upside down for those TVs with a smaller bezel up top. Okay. Speaking of bezel, there is a bezel adjustment feature. All you have to do is click on this icon. Let me click on that TV first. Click on this icon and this will come up, and then we can actually adjust for any bezel size, whether it's thick, whether it's no bezel, or a thin bezel TV. Okay, so let's move on to OSD, which is on-screen display. Again, this system, this EVO IP system, is great for digital signage application. Paired up with the video wall mode is the OSD, and with OSD we can put any text, any logos, any pictures that are overlaid right on our screen. Similar to the video wall mode, we have 8 presets down below, and you can see that I've already uploaded a couple of our logos. All you have to do is click on one of them, the little gear icon, and we can name it with whatever we want. We can choose whether it's a message or an image. We can choose the resolution, the transparency of that text or image. We can set it to any location. Punch in your message into here. We can choose the color and the size of it as well. So fully customizable in terms of font. In terms of images, all you have to do is select the type to image. And now down below, you'll have some presets, but I've also, again, uploaded a couple of our logos. So you can pick and choose which one you want to see an overlay on that screen. You can also do an album as well. So if I scroll up top here, for the subtype, we can actually choose album. And now we can actually choose multiple logos or pictures, and we can either cycle them in order, or we can do it at random, and then I can choose how long I want each picture or logo to display before it switches. Okay. In terms of uploading images and logos, very easy. If you click on the upload or delete custom OSD image, this is where you can upload, and it's very easy. All you have to do is click and drag as long as that image meets this criteria down below. Or you can simply click in here and it'll open up your folder. Okay. Before we move on to schedule, Brandon, anything to add on the OSD feature or what you're working on?
No, I mean, you covered much of it. I mean, there's certain things that we're looking to do in terms of even enhancing it even more. This is a real product that really been fun in a lot of ways to develop, because we're really trying to maximize everything that we can do to the software of it. So, I mean, stay tuned. We'll certainly have much more in regards to what we can do in regards to this, with scrolling features, etc. But right now, I think Frank covered really most of the meat and potatoes, so to speak.
Okay, great. Let's move on to the next mode, which is schedule. So again, like I mentioned previously, we can totally automate this system. We can set this or install it in a bar type application or a restaurant. We can tell that bartender or restaurant owner, listen, you don't even have to touch this system. This system will automatically switch for you. We can automatically turn off or mute each receiver and transmitter at a certain time for closing, and then resume at opening as well. So you can see that I've already added a schedule over here. All you have to do is hit the plus icon on the right-hand side. This will open up another window, and we can choose our receiver or transmitter. We'll keep it at receiver. And let's say you wanted to adjust the lobby TV. Now we can choose a duration if you wanted to run this for a certain date or for a certain time period. And then we can also choose a recurring event. So let's say we want to do this every Monday through Friday. So I'm going to unclick Saturday and Sunday. We can do a specific time. It is a military time, so all you have to do is punch in your time here. And we can choose to, let's say, remap, which is switching. So we can make sure that the Netflix source is switched to the lobby TV at 2 p.m. from Monday to Friday. So I'll hit add and then apply to save. So that is it. It's very simple. And again, we can do recurring events like Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. We can do a singular event like the Super Bowl if we wanted to, and plan ahead if you wanted to. So very simple and easy to use. In terms of digital signage, very neat feature. If I go back into here, instead of remapping, what I can also do is select cycle play on. What that does is that will cycle through multiple sources. So if you had multiple computers showing digital signage displays, we can add them all here and we can choose the amount of time each of them will cycle through, or at least display until it switches. Okay. In terms of the event, again, for the integrator, you can set yourself up to receive messages, whether it's email or text messages, anytime an issue occurs. So again, great for recurring revenue. If you want to charge your client a monthly fee for monitoring, what you can do is set yourself up on the email and SMS settings button, and you'll see the email over here. You can set yourself up. So let's set up Brandon as well. What you want to do is click the plus sign on the right-hand side. We can edit this, and we can put Brandon's name in there and his email address on the right-hand side. Hit the check, hit apply to save, and same for the SMS. We can add Brandon's number in here as well. Okay. After you've done all that, we can go back to the event, and let's create a new event. So what you want to do is click on the plus icon on the right-hand side again, and we can say, well, the TX, let's do that, and for the Netflix, that's important to us, let me know if video is lost or connection is lost. Now, what the system will automatically do is reboot the transmitter anytime it loses connection, but also we can choose to set ourselves up to receive an email and a text message as well. Okay. Hit the green check mark to save, hit apply to save even further, and now that's saved into the system. And again, anytime the Netflix goes down, we will be notified both ways. Now, in terms of the access mode is a great way to limit the amount of feeds that can go to a certain display. Again, this is great for parental control. This is great for CCTV, controlling that feed and controlling where it goes. Now, when you pop into here, all your receivers will display, and we can see it. Our TVs here, we've got the manager's office, we've got the lobby TV, and the dining room. So we can work on, let's say, the dining room, and then we can say, okay, well, I see Netflix is already in there. Let's allow it to have the CCTV feed, and we can hit the check mark. Okay, the default will be unlimited. So what you want to do is go into here and either check the amount of sources that you want that receiver to display or have access to. Again, going back to the user access levels, if you do try to switch a certain source that's not allowed, it will ask you for a password, and that password can be set up right here. Okay. All right, Brandon, anything to add with the access and the event modes?
No, just great tools in order to have. Being an installer before, they're just great tools. That's one thing that was always looking to develop, with the installers in mind, how to maximize profit, save time, make a good product. So, if there's any other questions or recommendations certainly out there, I'm more than happy to hear them and see how we can even develop this even further.
Okay, great. The setup mode, again, it's sort of the back end of the system. And here, again, what I mentioned beforehand was that the system actually updates every 10 seconds. You can see that counter going in the upper right-hand corner. So again, whenever you connect a transmitter or receiver, the system will automatically discover any new components that are connected. So again, in terms of setup, there almost is none. It's pretty easy. So all your components will be listed here. You've got the type, whether it's a transmitter or receiver. You've got the name of the source or display. You've got the IP address, the MAC address, and most importantly, the status. Obviously, green is good. Red means we have no signal or connection is lost. And more importantly, how long it's been up and running for. Now, if we click Edit on any one of these components, like the transmitter here, it'll show you the same information up top, but if we scroll down, we can start to rename these transmitters and receivers, so it's a lot easier to switch and display the video wall. We can change up the group ID. We can change up the photo if we wanted to. And then down below, in terms of AV settings, we can stop streaming video, so you can basically turn the transmitter off. We can activate the loop out feature, and then we can also adjust EDID from here as well. Now, in terms of maintenance down below, we can also factory default the unit. If there's an issue with it, we can choose to reboot it. Or this is actually a really cool feature, blink LED. So let me click on that. Now, let's say you're in a rack and you have multiple transmitters and receivers. If you want to physically locate a transmitter that you're working on, all you have to do is click on that button and a red LED will start blinking physically on the unit. So if I go back to setup here, you can see that transmitter that's playing the Netflix feed is blinking red. And we can do that for any other component within the system. Okay, last but not least is log. Again, as an integrator, you will have master access to each one of your installations. So basically, again, it's one for each control box. Again, you can come into this log, find out what happened, find out if somebody logged in that wasn't supposed to, and you can see the amount of fails there. That I try to log in with wrong password. Admin login success. You can see if there was video loss or if there was switching as well. So again, a great tool to have for troubleshooting and technical support. Okay, so at this time, what we'll do is we'll wrap up with questions. And again, I do want to apologize in advance. Due to the time constraint, we probably won't get to all the questions, but certainly reach out to myself and Brandon via email for questions. And then Brandon will actually go through the questions right now.
Yeah, I've been addressing most of these actually through the chat here. Let's see here. You can upload your own content, logos, pictures, etc. You can actually cycle through different logos and different messages as well. So lots of different options with the on-screen display mode. Let's see. And I think another question was, can these be used without a switch? You can. It's not recommended, to be honest with you, because you really lose all the functionality and cost that's available with it. We do have other products that would certainly be able to cover the distance and functionality outside of being sent over Ethernet, so such as our HD-based T extenders. So I'd probably recommend those instead. But I think that's pretty much it. I'm pretty much caught up on all the questions and everything. So right now we're always going to be working towards more switches that are being compatible with our system and recommended for it. I have tested a couple Netgear D-Link. We just don't have those to the point where we'd say certified at this point. And also, it really also depends on the scope of the job that you're trying to do. The more simple the system, so no switching, no cloud connectivity, think of like a splitter situation, like Franken mentioned, airports, arrivals, departures, something where all your sources and displays are going to be static. You can get away with even an unmanaged switch at that point. But we're still looking into certifying it to what switches would be best used for what kind of circumstances. So, let's see here. I don't think we have too much else. I mean, as Frank said, we're also going to be having drivers for this first round of drivers. We'll have RTI URC and Control 4 for the development of Crestron. If there's other recommendations of a control system that you use, certainly let us know. We'd be more than happy to look into what we can do for that one.
Okay. Anything else, Brandon?
Nothing on my end. I mean, there's a few questions that are kind of coming in kind of late here. I'll do my best to answer them probably individually through the chat here. But other than that, I mean, we're really looking forward to this being released. I think it adds a lot of value to the market. It can be a great benefit and a tool and a moneymaker for installers out there. So looking forward to getting as much feedback as possible.
All right, great, guys. Again, we'll review some of the questions and get back to you. Certainly apologize for any of those questions that weren't answered. But I do see one question about the webinar. Yes, you can certainly request a recording of this webinar. Please reach out to myself or Brandon, or you can actually call in 800-626-6445. Extension 234 is my extension, so you can reach out directly to me. and I can send you again a copy of the presentation. So again, thank you very much. Keep in mind that this EVO IP system is available and shipping now, so we have it in-house, and we've actually been testing it for quite a while now, so ready to order. So again, any questions, please let us know. Again, thank you very much for your time this afternoon or this morning, wherever you're at, and have a great day. Thank you.